In the heart of Lincoln High, cheerleader Kaylee Summers hides a secret beneath her dazzling smile: fire for justice. When bullies rip her jacket off in front of the school, her revenge sparks a chain of shocking twists that will leave jaws dropped. Buckle up for a wild ride. Kaylee Summers walked through the crowded halls of Lincoln High, her cheerleading jacket slung over her shoulder, the red and gold letters glinting under the fluorescent lights. She was a senior, captain of the cheer squad, and the kind of girl everyone noticed: blonde hair tied in a high ponytail, eyes that sparkled with confidence, and a smile that could light up a room. But beneath the polished exterior, Kaylee carried a weight. She wasn't just the picture-perfect cheerleader. She was a girl who'd learned to fight for everything she had. Growing up in a small, rough neighborhood on the edge of town, she'd faced her share of struggles: absent parents, empty fridges, and whispers about her family's past. Cheerleading was her escape, her ticket to a better life. She'd clawed her way to the top of the squad with grit and talent. But today, as she navigated the sea of students, she felt a prickle on the back of her neck. Someone was watching her. The school courtyard was buzzing at lunch, with students sprawled across picnic tables, laughing and scrolling through their phones. Kaylee sat with her best friend, Mia, a quiet girl with a knack for noticing things others missed. Mia pushed her glasses up her nose and leaned in. "You see those guys over there? By the oak tree? They've been staring at you for like 10 minutes. Kaylee glanced over, her stomach tightening. 3 boys stood in a huddle, their smirks sharp as knives. The leader, Derek Voss, was a senior like her, a linebacker on the football team with a reputation for trouble. His broad shoulders and cocky grin made him untouchable in the eyes of most students. Flanking him were his lackeys, Jake and Cody, who followed Derek like shadows. Kaylee shrugged, trying to play it cool. They're just being idiots. Nor them. But ignoring Derek was like ignoring a storm cloud rolling in. He'd had it out for Kaylee since sophomore year, when she'd called him out in front of the team for harassing a freshman. Derek didn't take kindly to being challenged, especially by a girl. Since then, he'd made it his mission to knock her down a peg-snide comments in class, rumors whispered behind her back. Today, though, something felt different. His stare wasn't just smug, it was predatory. Kaylee pushed the thought aside and stood, tossing her tray in the trash. "Come on, Mia, let's get to practice." The cheer squad was warming up in the gym when it happened. Kaylee was mid-routine, leading the girls through a high-energy sequence, when the double doors swung open with a bang. Derek strutted in, Jake and Cody trailing behind, their laughter echoing off the walls. The coach, Ms. Hargrove, was in her office, leaving the squad unsupervised for a moment. Kaylee froze, her heart pounding. "What do you want, Derek?" she called, keeping her voice steady. He didn't answer right away. Steady sauntered over, his eyes locked on her jacket, which she'd draped over a bench. Was her pride, and joy a symbol of her leadership, earned through years of sweat and sacrifice. "Nice jacket," Derek said, his voice dripping with mockery. Before Kaylee could react, he snatched it up, holding it high like a trophy. The other girls gasped, but no one moved. Jake and Cody snickered, egging him on. "Bet it looks better on me," Derek taunted, slipping it on and striking a pose. The squad's silence was deafening. Kaylee's face burned, but she kept her cool. "Give it back, Derek, now," he smirked, stepping closer. "Make me." The gym felt like it was closing in. Kaylee lunged for the jacket, but Derek yanked it away, and in a swift, cruel motion, he grabbed the sleeve and tore it off her bench. Ripping the fabric with a sickening sound, the squad gasped again, and Mia, standing nearby, whispered Kaylee. "Don't asterisk," but Kaylee wasn't listening. Something snapped inside her. She stepped forward, her voice low and dangerous. "You think you can just take what's mine?" Derek laughed, tossing the torn jacket at her feet. "What are you going to do about it, cheerleader?" The word was a slur in his mouth, and the gym seemed to hold its breath. Kaylee's hands clenched into fists, but she didn't swing. Not yet. Instead, she picked up the jacket, her eyes never. "Leaving Derek's? You'll see," she said, her voice so calm it sent a chill through the room. Derek's smirk faltered, just for a second, before he turned and swaggered out, his lackeys trailing behind. Asterisk that night, Kaylee sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor, the ruined jacket in her lap. Her small apartment was quiet, her mom working. The night shift at the diner. The torn sleeve stared up at her like a wound. She could still hear Derek's laugh, see the smugness in his eyes. Most people would have cried or maybe posted a rant online, but Kaylee wasn't most people. She'd learned early on that tears didn't solve problems, action did. She pulled out her phone and texted Mia, "Meet me tomorrow. We're fixing." Mia's reply came instantly. "What's the plan?" Kaylee didn't answer. Not yet. The plan was still forming, but it was going to be big. It was going to hurt. Asterisk, the next day, Kaylee walked into school with her head high, her torn jacket stitched roughly back together. The whispers followed her, some sympathetic, some cruel. She ignored them all. Mia caught up with her in the hallway, her eyes wide with worry. "Kaylee, you can't just go after Derek. He's got the whole football team behind him." Kaylee's smile was sharp. "I'm not going after him. I'm going after his pride." Mia frowned, confused, but Kaylee didn't explain. She'd spent the night piecing together a plan that wasn't just about getting even, it was about making Derek feel the way he'd made her feel, exposed, powerless, small. Asterisk, step one was reconnaissance. Kaylee knew Derek's ego was his Achilles heel. He thrived on attention, on being the guy everyone feared or admired. She needed to hit him where it hurt most, his reputation. That afternoon, she slipped into the school's AV room, where Mia was part of the tech club. "I need your help," Kaylee said, pulling a USB drive from her pocket. "There's a video on here. Can you make sure it plays on every screen in the school during Friday's pep rally?" Mia's eyes widened. "What kind of video?" Kaylee's smile was cryptic, the kind that changes everything. Asterisk, the video was Kaylee's first twist. She'd spent hours combing through old footage from the school's security cameras, thanks to a favor from a janitor who owed her mom a debt. What she found was gold, a clip from last month's homecoming game, where Derek, drunk and stumbling, tried to pick a fight with a rival team's mascot and ended up tripping into a pile of trash cans. The footage was grainy, but unmistakable. Derek's red face, his slurred insults, his pathetic sprawl in the garbage.
Ouch.
It was the kind of thing that would haunt him for years. Kaylee edited the clip herself, adding a slow-motion replay and a caption, "Lincoln's toughest linebacker." She wasn't just going to embarrass him. She was going to make him a laughingstock. Asterisk, Friday's pep rally was the biggest event of the semester. With the whole school packed into the gym, the cheer squad was set to perform, and Kaylee had made sure her routine was flawless.
She moved
Through the steps with precision, her smile bright, but her eyes scanning the crowd. Derek was in the bleachers, laughing with his buddies, oblivious to what was coming. As the squad finished their routine, the giant screens above the court flickered. The crowd hushed, expecting a highlight reel of the football team. Instead, Derek's drunken tumble filled the screens, his voice echoing through the gym's speakers. Gasps turned to giggles, then full-blown laughter. Derek's face went from cocky to crimson, his hands balling into fists as he stood. Searching for the source, Asterisk, Kaylee stood at the edge of the court, her expression neutral, but her heart racing. The crowd's laughter was deafening, and Derek's eyes locked on hers. For a moment, she thought he'd charge at her, but the principal, Mr. Callahan, was already storming toward the AV booth, shouting for the video to be cut. It was too late. The damage was done. Derek shoved his way out of the gym, his lackeys trailing behind, and Kaylee felt a rush of triumph. But she wasn't done. That was just the opening act. Asterisk, the next twist came Monday, when Derek cornered her in the parking lot after school. The lot was nearly empty, the sky bruised with dusk. Kaylee was unlocking her beat-up Honda when she heard his voice. "You think you're clever?" "Summers." Derek loomed over her, his breath hot with anger. Jake and Cody stood a few feet back, their faces uneasy. Kaylee didn't flinch. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, her voice steady. Derek stepped closer, his finger jabbing at her chest. "That video? You did it." Kaylee's eyes flicked to the side where Mia was quietly recording from behind a car. "Careful, Derek," Kaylee said. "Don't want to make this worse?" Asterisk, he didn't see the trap. Derek grabbed her wrist, twisting it hard, and Kaylee let out a sharp cry. But she'd been ready for this. She'd taken self-defense classes at the community center, taught by a retired cop who'd seen her potential. In one fluid motion, she twisted her arm free, grabbed Derek's fingers, and bent them back with a sickening crack. He howled, stumbling back, his face contorted in pain. Jake and Cody froze, unsure whether to jump in or run. Kaylee didn't. Wait to find out. She stepped forward, her voice low. "Touch me again, and it's not just your fingers. I'll break." Derek clutched his hand, his eyes wide with shock and something else - fear. The video Mia recorded went viral by morning. It wasn't just the school that saw it. The clip spread across social media, racking up thousands of views. Hashtags like #Cheerleader takedown and #BullyBusted trended locally, and Kaylee became an overnight sensation. Some called her a hero, others a troublemaker. The school was in chaos, with teachers scrambling to control the narrative and parents demanding answers. Derek was suspended, his football scholarship in jeopardy, and whispers of a lawsuit floated through the halls. But Kaylee wasn't celebrating yet. She knew Derek wouldn't let this go. The final twist came a week later at the homecoming dance. Kaylee hadn't planned to go. She wasn't much for dresses or slow songs, but Mia convinced her, saying she deserved a night to shine. Kaylee wore a simple black dress, her repaired cheer jacket slung over her shoulders like armor. The gym was transformed with lights and streamers, but the air was thick with tension. Derek had returned to school that day, his hand in a brace, his glare following Kaylee everywhere. She ignored him, dancing with Mia and a few other friends, but she felt the storm brewing. Halfway through the night, the music cut out and the lights dimmed. Spotlight hit the stage where Derek stood, holding a microphone. The crowd murmured, sensing trouble. "I've got something to say," Derek began, his voice slurred with what Kaylee suspected was more than just anger. "Kaylee Summers thinks she's untouchable. She humiliated me, broke my hand, and for what? A stupid jacket." The crowd was silent, some students shifting uncomfortably. Kaylee's heart pounded, but she stood her ground, her eyes locked. "On Derek," he continued, his voice rising, "she's not a hero, she's a liar. And I've got proof." The screens flickered again, and a photo appeared, a grainy image of Kaylee's mom, years younger, in a mugshot. The crowd gasped, whispers erupting. Derek's voice was triumphant. "Her mom's a criminal, like mother, like daughter." Kaylee's stomach dropped. She'd known about her mom's past, a minor theft charge from years ago. Before Kaylee was born, but it was a secret she'd guarded fiercely. Derek must have dug deep, maybe paid someone for the record. The humiliation burned, but Kaylee didn't crumble. Instead, she walked to the stage, her steps deliberate, and took the microphone from Derek's hand. "You're right," she said, her voice clear and strong. "My mom made mistakes. So did I once. But I'm not hiding anymore. You want to tear me down? Go ahead. I've been through worse than you." The crowd was silent, hanging on her words. "You took my jacket, Derek. You tried to take my pride. But you can't take my strength. And you know what? I'm not the only one here who's stronger than you think." She turned to the crowd, her voice rising. "Who else is tired of bullies like him running this school?" A few cheers broke out, then more, until the gym was roaring. Derek's face paled, his bravado gone. He slunk off the stage, defeated, as the music started up again. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Derek's family moved the next day, threatening to sue the school. Kaylee faced a week's suspension but was hailed as a legend by most of the student body. Her mom, tearful but proud, told her she'd done the right thing. Kaylee's jacket, now a symbol of her fight, was retired to her closet, replaced by a new one the squad gifted her. She didn't need it anymore. She'd proven she was more than a uniform. The story didn't end there. Kaylee used her newfound platform to start an anti-bullying campaign at Lincoln High, working with Mia and other students to create a safer school. Derek transferred to another district, his reputation in tatters. Kaylee's college applications, already strong, were boosted by her story, and scholarship offers poured in. But what mattered most was the change she saw in her school students standing up, speaking out, refusing to be silenced. Kaylee Summers wasn't just a cheerleader anymore. She was a force. If you loved Kaylee's epic takedown, hit that subscribe button for more gripping stories of courage and revenge. We drop new tales every week that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss out. Join our community now. Where are you watching this story from? Drop your city or state in the comments and let us know what you think of Kaylee's revenge.